Welcome to Afterlife Topics and Metaphysics, and as the sun sets here in Kiev, Ukraine, I decided to change the mise-en-scène of the videos and create something a little darker and creepier, kind of a film noir setting, I suppose. Really, I just haven't turned on the light in my dorm room, so I'm just gonna flow with it and be grateful that I have a few minutes of privacy in this dorm to make a video without people crashing in. Can't wait until I get out of this hostel. That's like next week. Back to making videos by then in my own private space, which is a lot easier. So on this video we are talking about something called astral dementia. And this is a really interesting concept that we're gonna cover first on Afterlife Topics, and I'm hoping other people in this field pick up this area of study and run with it after learning about this concept here. So if you're into out-of-body experiences, if you've been following this channel and listening to the stuff we talk about here, then I hope you'll like this video. We do talk about these complex metaphysical subjects on Afterlife Topics, and if you like this kind of stuff, go down and hit that subscribe button. Stay in touch with the channel. Share the video, like the video, and click that notification bell to find out when we have new content coming up. So, to jump into it, astral dementia. What am I talking about now? I know Cyrus is always going on with these weird concepts, and this is a phenomena that I have been taking note of in my journals for a number of years, and then had a fun conversation about this with Corey, one of our patrons in the university alum group, and basically he was experiencing the same exact thing that I've been experiencing. So we had a fun discussion about this, and it opened my mind to the fact that this happens to a lot of us who are astral projecting or having astral dreams, appearing on that side, sometimes without even realizing it or only coming back with little bits of memory. And it explains some of the odd occurrences that come about through the phenomenon of somebody's consciousness here appearing there, and how that can become a really messy situation. So, what do I mean by that? Astral dementia is when you appear on what we call the astral plane, the other side, the fourth dimension, the afterlife, whatever terminology you want to use. Our consciousness is still linked up to our mind here on this side, and as a result of that, it doesn't quite, don't know what term to use, it doesn't quite synchronize properly, and you appear on that side, but you end up mixing up all of your memories. And as your memories get mixed up, then you create these very awkward moments where you can't remember what's going on or where you are, or you think you're still living on this planet, or you're still on this planet when you're interacting with people on that side. So let me elaborate a little more. I might be astral projecting, and even with my abilities, I will still sometimes suffer from astral dementia. And so I will appear, for example, with my mom, and I will begin saying things like, "I'm so happy that you got better from your illness," because I'm still relating the whole situation to as if I was living on this planet. So my memories get jumbled up. I don't realize that I am on her side, and I will make statements like this. I will tell my dad, "Hey, I'm looking forward to seeing you when I fly back to Arizona," forgetting that I am one, on the astral plane, and two, he's dead on this world. I will tell my mom, "I hope that you give up drinking, because that was quite a scare with your liver problems when you had to be admitted to the hospital," completely forgetting not only the fact that she's passed away here, but the fact that we've had years of communication astrally, because I'm suffering from astral dementia. Now, Corey made a really funny point, because it was in reference to his close friend who passed away, that he was having an astral experience, and he said effectively, "Wow, I'm so glad that you were still alive. You never died. We must have dug you up from the ground, and now you're back with us again." It's exactly the kind of thing that happens when the dementia takes over, because again, your memories, your mind here synchronizes to your mind there, and you don't even have all the full coherence, full memories from here. And I think it's your physical brain on this side that is interpreting information based upon logical premises and not realizing where you are, not realizing that you are astral projecting, and you begin making these conclusions which don't make any sense. So when this happens, without fail, the people on that side who hear us talking like this, first of all, they are aware of this condition. They're aware that they're speaking to somebody from this planet who is dreaming, basically just projecting their consciousness, which is what astral projection means, onto their side, but not completely. They know that they're having like a limited experience. They don't have full lucid awareness, and so they have to be very patient. So when I say this stuff to my parents, they're just like, "Yes, Cyrus, it's okay now. It's okay, Cyrus. We're here. We're all right. Don't worry, Cyrus." Kind of like talking to somebody who's like lost their memory or doesn't have full conscious awareness of what's going on. Other times, people will become impatient when they're dealing with a Earth person who is suffering from dementia, and they will say, "Snap out of it, don't you remember? Like, what are you going on about now, Cyrus? Don't you remember what happened, or don't you know where you are?" Sometimes they'll have a laugh about it and be like, "Oh yeah, right, you dug me up out of the ground. Here I am, alive and as good as new." So sometimes they run with it, but sometimes they get annoyed. There are different reactions that can happen depending on the situation. But no matter what, I always find it to be embarrassing when this type of thing happens. And it's always a result of a not fully lucid astral experience, which we want to avoid, but these things are inevitable. Another form of astral dementia, of course, is when we forget about the person on that side who we know, but we have no memory of when we're back here, yet we meet them when we are projecting, and we forget who they are. So this has happened to me a number of times, that I'll see somebody who looks extremely familiar. They will say that they are a close friend of mine, and then they will tease me and say, "But you're a dreamer. You're somebody from the third dimension," whatever term they may use. "And every time you start doing this, Cyrus, you forget who I am. Like, do you remember me now? Hello?" So I've been in that situation before as well. For them, they have a world that's populated by people, walking around and driving cars and flying spaceships and flying around and, all kinds of crazy stuff that happens on the other side. So they have that world, but then there's people walking around who are like sleepwalkers. And these are the dreamers from this side, easy to spot. Sometimes they're even, I think, a bit translucent. And so you can tell what they look like. Or you can tell they're a dreamer by what they look like, because they're a little bit off. Because they're projecting their consciousness. Now, how solid and real they are depends on how lucid the dreamer is. And in some situations, if you meet a true astral projector, then they'll be interacting, plain as day. Now, sometimes we appear on that side and we're not connected at all to our body here, and then we are fully interactive on that side, fully interacting with everybody just like any normal resident of that world. But when this happens, that we're not dreaming, so we're not bringing any of those memories back. Whereas the sleepwalkers, the dreamers, we know if you're living on the astral plane, you'll know that if you can get their attention, then they will remember you as a character in a dream possibly, or maybe just a faint memory after they wake up on this side. And usually that memory will be distorted. So that's the thing. Again, you know how people who are half asleep begin mumbling nonsense. There's this layer of nonsense that distorts our memories and perception based upon stuff in our subconscious mind. So we may meet somebody who's a normal person. Let's say we see somebody on a boat and they wave at us, and we see that while we're on that side. We wake up and we remember it as somebody riding on the back of a rhinoceros waving at us holding a spear. Like, that's pretty weird. That's just because we conflated this, or there's something symbolic, or there's something archetypical, something that transformed or put like a hallucination layer on top of the real thing that we observed. So as a sleepwalker, as a dreamer, you know, we had a real experience with somebody, but then we're interpreting it in that dreamlike fashion. So to kind of summarize, we can meet up with our loved ones, and then you may end up saying all of this embarrassing stuff, meeting up with your deceased, you know, friend, family member, whatnot, and then saying things like, "I'm so glad you're back. I'm so glad you didn't die." And sometimes they actually find this, you know, they might find it amusing, or they may even find it a bit heartbreaking that you don't realize what's going on, and they might have to treat you a little bit like they're dealing with somebody who really is suffering from dementia. Of course, when we cross over, this won't be a problem anymore, because our consciousness will no longer be displaced. The reason this is happening is because our consciousness is displaced between a couple of different realms, and we don't have enough of that consciousness to go around without causing serious errors. And that's why it happens. So I want to hear from you guys. Have you ever had this experience? I might put this into a future book that I'm working on, so I'd love to hear from you. So put that in the comments down below. Message me on Facebook if you've ever had this experience. And if you're just watching this channel, you want to get involved, and come join us at Afterlife Topics and Metaphysics on Facebook, or go to afterlifetopics.com. You can check out books like Understanding Life After Death or The Afterlife and Beyond. Or you can sign up as a patron, as a student, and get involved in the classes and help support the work. All that you can do at afterlifetopics.com. And I guess that's it for this video. I shall now go off into the cold, dark night of Ukraine, and get this. There's still that blue lens tint, you know, like, remember our last video? It's like so blue looking. I thought it was the window. Turns out it's not the window. I think Ukraine just has a blue tint. I think the mise-en-scène for Ukraine was designed by like Scorsese, and kind of like, I think it was The Departed, had like the blue lens tint. Like, this is just how it is here. Everything is blue colored. Makes sense though, because it's Ukraine, right? Anyway, I'll catch you guys on the next video.